This week on the Steam Machine Podcast.
Why do you sound like you're about to introduce Super Friends?
I wasn't expecting that. Hold on. Let's leave a long pause. Because we only need to take a short hike. Cue the music! That long pause is gonna get taken out by truncate silence. Welcome to another episode of the Steam Machine Podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me, as always, the Destructo
What's up, it's Nate.
Hey, it's Billy. How you doing?
Two things right off the bat before I forget. One, your boy's on Spotify now. If you go on Spotify, take two. If you go on Spotify and look up Now the Nightmare, you can find me on there now. I got 2 songs up. I'm working on getting the Goth album up there too. So that's coming soon. 2, if you notice that my voice sounds weird or extra deep at the moment, your boy's got COVID. So,
The vid finally struck you, Dalton.
Finally got me. After all this fucking time, I avoided it. My grandpa went to the hospital. He got it. My grandma got it. My mom got it. And then now me and my dad have it. Yeah. So it's like, ugh.
The family business.
Honestly, the worst part about getting COVID is losing that sense of righteous superiority you have over everybody else that you hadn't caught it.
I wouldn't know.
Oh, that hurt.
I wouldn't know, you hand-washingless schlubs.
And that's the thing, is I soak myself in fucking alcohol, right? Like
I'm
when I'm at work.
All right, bro, you should not admit drinking at the job, but that's okay.
Just soak myself. I go crack a bottle of wine over there and just down it. No, but like,
he's here. He's ever clear. Get used to it.
My mom didn't know she had it, and then me and her were passing joints back and forth.
Oh,
and then the next day she tests positive, and I'm like, motherfucker.
What a way to get a respiratory condition. Like, I knew I was coughing for a reason.
But yeah, so I'm extra deep at the moment, but that's okay.
He's so deep you can call him Chicago Dish.
Yeah, you can call me old Sam Elliott.
And that got in.
Dude, he could actually grow a mustache, though.
Oh!
Zing! Ouch, dog. It's coming in a little.
Dude, I can't either. Don't feel bad.
I know. I always like, I'll make a comment about my facial hair, and Jeremy will go, "Quit being a bitch." Fuck you and your full ass gray beard, mind you. Now he's gonna come. He's gonna be like, my beard's not gray. Fuck you. Anyway. Boys, what have you been up to the past couple weeks? Let's start with Natey Poo, dog. What you been up to?
Yeah, pretty similar to last week. Just been watching a lot of TV. Got some time on my hands, so just been watching stuff. So, finished the show called The White Lotus. It's 2 seasons long. Each season's different. Like, the first season's about this hotel in Hawaii, the White Lotus Hotel in Hawaii. And the second season's about the White Lotus in Sicily, Italy. And so it's like 2 stories that aren't really connected, but like, you know, kind of like how American Horror Story works, where each season's a little bit different and all that kind of stuff. But it's a really interesting show. Okay. Basically, another show about how rich people are huge pieces of shit. So it's a pretty funny show. I've really enjoyed watching that a lot. Another show that I watched was called The Bear. It has 2 seasons out right now as well. And this show, dude, like, I did not expect to like a show this much in a long time. The Bear is super good.
It's funny you mentioned that. My dad started watching that recently because my dad's like super into cooking and stuff.
Yeah. And
then I left to go to work and came home. And my dad looks at me and he goes, "Man, I've been watching this show all day. I don't ever want to fucking work in a commercial kitchen ever." And I was like, really? Because he used to say, "I think I could handle it. I think I could work in a kitchen." I'm like, "No, dude, I worked in a kitchen. I don't think you could. You don't like loud noises."
Yeah. I worked front of house. Trust me, I do not want to work back of house. But, like, it's a really cool show because it's about this guy in Chicago who actually had trained to be this professional chef that went to New York, was working at, like, Michelin-rated restaurants and all this stuff. And then his brother back in Chicago died, and his brother owned this restaurant in Chicago, and he went to move home because his brother left the restaurant to him in his will, so he went to try to turn this restaurant around and make it, this destination in Chicago. So just really cool show. Like, I really like that one a lot and highly recommend it. It's like some of the shots on it, like they do some like really long single camera scenes. So like this scene will be obviously shot with like the same camera for like 15 straight minutes. You're like, after you watch it, you're like, holy shit, I think I just watched art. Because it's like, it's like, how could you go for one single shot and record that much? It'd be that beautiful to watch. I don't know, man. It's an incredible show. Highly, highly recommend The Bear.
Yeah, that's high up on my watch list. If I could just stop when I'm like, all right, what am I going to put on while I'm playing a game? I always just go to YouTube and pick something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to start like actually like picking things that are writing and good stuff, but what do I know?
And then I started another show a couple days ago that I haven't finished yet, so this will probably be on the next recordings. I'll talk about it. But this show called Severance on Apple TV. This show seems really freaking good. Like, I've seen a couple episodes now, and like, that's what I was watching before I came to record, and I'm kind of like, I gotta go record a podcast. I just want to watch another episode of this.
I've heard good things about Severance. I think it was either Kevin Nash or Eric Bischoff that I was listening to that mentioned that was a good show.
Yeah. As right now, I'd agree.
Did he sound tall? Because that lets you know what it is.
Do you sound like he played Super Shredder? But yeah.
Or does he sound like he shredded a bunch of Ted Turner's money?
Isn't that both of them?
Controversy creates
which one shredded his quads?
One of my favorite Kevin Nash quotes was, he goes, we had favorite nations. So anytime somebody came in and they got more money than us, we got a raise. And the guy interviewing him, I think it was Sean Oliver, goes, oh, so I bet Bret was a good boost then. He goes, fuck, I love Bret Hart. He goes, I don't care. Everybody gives Bret Hart shit. He goes, I love Bret Hart. That motherfucker got me like a $250,000 raise. I love Bret Hart. I'm like, that is such a Kevin Nash thing.
Yep.
He helped me get richer. I love that man.
Yeah. So those are the shows I've been watching. Other than that, been walking in the woods, taking short hikes myself for a couple of days, and just been taking care of my mental health lately. That's been my main priority as of late. So
that's good. I know you were really stressing for a while, so yeah. It sounds like you still kind of have been for some extent. So hopefully you're just doing what you can and keeping it reasonable. Yeah. Not overdoing it, but not underdoing it.
Yeah, it's kind of where it is.
I thought Willie was about to say keeping it real, dog. I don't know why.
Yeah. What about you, Goobers? What have you been up to?
Go ahead, Will. What you been up to, man?
No, but seriously, let's see. Have I been up to anything interesting, man? I thought I had something and I completely forgot what it was. I've been kind of sick, but not as sick as you lately, so that sucks, but it doesn't suck the worst. But like, I kind of came home early from work today because I was like not doing too good, and they were like, hey, you look like you're feeling sick, and I'm like, yeah, I have been, but I don't know. That was a great story.
Cool story, bro.
New Battle Pass season of Brawlhalla started today, so I played a little bit of that. That's been fun. They got Master Chief in that game now.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I don't have him, but it's kind of neat.
It's really
Praise Hail, Praise Dale.
Praise Hail, Praise Dale.
Where'd you go?
Is he good? Have y'all tried him yet?
He used the same, so with the crossover characters, all of them except Ezio and Rayman, who are unique characters, they all have the same, basic kit as an existing character in the game, and he plays similar to Isaiah, who Nate really likes.
I think he's good. I think he's really cool.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Hell yeah.
His weapons are gun and bigger guns. So, you know,
I don't like that. Like honestly, if they made Doom Guy in this game, that's the character I would have put Doom Guy over to.
Yeah, so I was pretty happy to see that that's what they went with for that. And then they also added the Arbiter as a second character who uses sword and cannon, so that's kind of neat too. For those of you deep Halo fans.
Holy fuck. You want to talk about the crossover that no one's asked for but would be ridiculous would be Doom and Halo, where it's like you're dealing with demons coming from the underworld and aliens from space, and it's like, who can stop this? Only the forces of Master Chief and Doom Guy together.
Two guys in helmets with freaking
green and guns.
Really cool green outfits. Yeah, green and guns. That's what they should call the game.
They're gonna be like, hold on, like, what are we gonna do? And they're just gonna hear like, don't worry, I'll nuke them from here. And then boom, there's Doom, or then there's Duke.
I think
maybe even
why
Sam.
don't I do the Terminator theme? I meant to do the freaking. I meant to do the Duke Nukem song after the Terminator song.
I think a huge crossover of just like all the FPS dudes would be so freaking good.
Oh yeah.
Here comes BJ Blazkowicz kicking down a door.
Yes. Yeah, dude. It's serious. Sam's just like, everybody move, and he just like comes over the hill, and then he just like gets followed by all those bomb running dudes. Ah! He's like,
there's like 10,000 of them.
They're finally on our side. Oh goodness gracious. Any Doom mods or anything you've played that are cool, man? You're typically up on those.
I was gonna say, did I have an interesting Doom mod this time? Actually, I don't have anything. I've been playing a lot of, like, just replaying old ones that I really liked. So, been doing a lot of playing Contra Doom, which is it has all the Contra weapons and stuff, especially Contra 3 style in Doom, and just using that to play through, like, some of my favorite really big levels that are doing too much.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Contra Doom, man. That just sounds like too intense for me.
It's quite intense, yeah, because you also die in one hit.
No, thank you. I'm so bad at Doom already.
It ain't easy.
It ain't easy being cheesy. Life's hard out here for a pimp. I guess that just leaves me.
Yeah, what's up, man?
So, I have also been dealing with some mental health issues lately. Weird though, the other day, like I had a phone call with Brandy. I was on the phone with her for like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. We got off the phone, and like I went to sleep that night. I woke up the next day, perfectly fucking fine. Like, snap. I don't know what the fuck it was. I don't know if it just like was just talking about it, getting it all out, like helped. You know what I mean? So now I'm just like on this thing. Also, I think it was like I woke up that next day. Or no, I'm sorry, it was later that day. I tested positive for COVID. So I immediately knew I had at least 5 days off of work. And it was it was like a stress just washed off me. I don't have to go to that hellhole for 5 days. I don't have to go back till Sunday.
Back can recover for a little bit.
Yeah. I go back Sunday. Which I'm sure I'm going to have to wear a mask, and that's going to suck, but I'll deal with it because it is what it is. But what I might do is wear my Steam Machine podcast gator and see if they say anything like, oh, well, that's got a logo on it. You can't wear that. I'm like, why? I mean, it's my shtick. Let people ask me about it. I'll tell them, hey, go listen to this podcast. And then they can listen to this, and that'll filter them to YasPod, and they can hear about what a hellhole this fucking place is.
The long game.
Love it when a plan comes together.
But I've just been playing the shit out of Trails. I acquired Baldur's Gate 3 and started playing it and realized, holy shit, the studio deserves the money for this game. So I immediately went and bought it on Steam and installed it, and I picked up where I left off. I've had it for 3 days now. I think it came out 3 days ago, and I downloaded it. No, it came out like a week ago, but like I downloaded it about 3 days ago. I left it on when I went to sleep last night on accident. Keep that in mind. But my in-game timer is at like 32 hours.
Jeez.
So I have just been like, it's funny. I go into the bathroom. I'll go take bathroom breaks, and while I'm in the bathroom, I'm on my phone looking at Indeed, looking through job stuff, and then I come back and I play Baldur's Gate. And then I'll go eat. I'll have to go to the bathroom. I'll go to the bathroom. I'm looking through job, seeing if I can find anything else around here besides where I'm fucking at. And then, boom, back to Baldur's Gate. Dude, when I say this is one of the best RPGs I've played in a long time already, and I'm only in Act 2, like, wow, I am really fucking impressed. Just to give a couple examples without giving away too much.
I know you gave us some fun stories from the game already in the group chat.
I came across this goblin who's like, yeah, you can come through here, but you gotta, he's like, you need the mark or whatever the hell he called it. And he goes, and they're like, I'm like, okay, well, what do I do to get that? And he points at this pile of shit from this creature next to him. And he goes, take a bit of that and smear it all over your face. And then you can come in. And I'm thinking to myself, motherfucker, that ain't gonna happen. I'm not smearing shit on my face to taint my hero self for you fucking goblin. Goblin D's nuts, am I right, boys? So, I'm like, your choices.
He said taint.
Your choices are, like, I'm not doing that. Hey, that sounds cool. What kind of design? Do you have any design requests? Anything like that? And then the third choice was I believe, athletics check or a sleight of hand check. It was one of the two, and it was act like you're going to do it and then sling the shit into the goblin's face. So I was like, obviously, I'm going with that one. So the roll interface when you're going to do a check is really cool because it pops up into this menu and gives you a 20-sided dice. And then you can click to add your proficiencies and things like that, and then you just click the dice and it rolls, and then it counts it up. But I just like that they let you roll the die when you're trying to do this, because it would be just like the DM being like, oh, you want to do that? Okay, skill check. Boom.
Yeah, I do like that. That's a pretty cool way of going about it.
I thought so, and it's also cool for like people who are not necessarily super familiar with D&D would then know, oh, okay, I can compare that to it when they're trying to go from one to the other. Like if they were playing Baldur's Gate and wanted to go try D&D, when somebody's like skill check, they'd be like, oh, okay, that's like that screen, just little things like that. I appreciate.
It's like through poop at the goblin.
Yeah. So, I succeeded, threw the shit into his face, ended up getting into a battle, kill all these goblins that are around there. Keep going around this village, and I'm looking, and I'm just kind of exploring, looting things. And I open up the doors of his barn. Now, if you do not want any kind of Baldur's Gate spoilers, because this is not a story spoiler, this is just something funny that happens, but skip ahead a minute. Okay? So, open up these doors. All of my characters are like, whoa, what in the bloody hell? And the camera turns, and there is a big troll leaned over a boulder, laying on its like stomach, like over a boulder, with a bugbear straight up mounted it on the back. Hey there, you wonderful listeners. I have a question for you. Do you want to make a podcast? Well, Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily and then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place and for free. How can you beat that? It's called Spotify for Podcasters. And here is how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. And when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, there are Q&A and poll options available, and those are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered Spotify for Podcasters, it has made doing my shows like the Steam Machine Podcast, Yabs Pod, and the JRPG Report much, much easier to do. Like being able to just go on there, record them, upload it, boom, it's done. I don't have to pay for a site service to host or anything like that. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend that you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today. And the bugbear gets off and's like, huh, what, why are you here? And the troll woman gets up and she's like, basically, interrupted, you die. And I'm just thinking like, oh no, snoo. Futurama. So then I ended up having to fight them, and then I felt bad. I'm like, man, they were just trying to.
They were just living their best life.
They were just trying to get it on, man. Yeah, it's like, come on now. Now I feel bad. But like, that's just some shit I just happened upon. And then like,
now he's addicted to it. He's knocking on every holiday and
it almost reminded me of the South Park game when you can just go up to random people's houses and you open the one door and there's like just the naked woman in there who freaks out and then comes and slams the door on you. Just like random shit you can just find. I love the little things like that in these RPGs. And there's some other things that I could talk about, but again, if anybody's playing, because it's still relatively fresh, I want people to discover things on their own. But it is a very good game. Combat, super good. It's turn-based, so you can really like make your decisions and pick your spells that you want to cast and things like that. I do think it is a lot more intuitive than the older Baldur's Gate games.
Is it based on like the AD&D second edition, like the old ones, or is it based on a newer edition?
It is based on 5th edition, my good sir. It is based on the new common rule set.
Gotcha.
So
that probably helps then, because it doesn't have like Thaco and stuff going on under the hood.
Yes. Yeah, it's some things are streamlined for the better.
Did you say Fago under the hood? Is this the Insane Clown Posse?
Whoop whoop! Much armor check, love.
Oh my god, much armor. But I really recommend it. I think you guys would like it a lot. Because it's not. So you could almost make an argument that the original Baldur's Gate 2 was a little more lenient, but the original Baldur's Gate plays almost like a tactical RPG in a way. Whereas this one to me plays more like a much needed update, kind of like I said, the Divinity games, because it's done by Larian Studios, who has been behind all the Divinity games from way back in the day. You know, Beyond Divinity, Divine Divinity, and all of those. So they're a well-known and trusted studio, especially after Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. Go in the Discord, just ask Paulsh about those games, and he will tell you all about it, how good they are. So yeah, that is rave review. I highly recommend it. It is full price, and I paid full price without even thinking about it. Like, it's so good.
Sweet, man. Sounds good. Like, that's one I'm definitely interested in. Seems like, you know, I just don't have a history with Baldur's Gate, but like everybody that I know that has a history or just has tried this one has been like, holy shit, this game is incredible.
And I would also like to point out that there is a multiplayer function where I believe we'd each get to control a party member. I don't know if we'd each get to like create our own people and we just travel together like that. That'd be sweet. But yeah, there is multiplayer as well. So like if y'all boys got it and we wanted to run a campaign together, we could absolutely do that, which I think is cool.
So what I also have heard, though, is the multiplayer is the biggest complaint point in this game, because if you do put together a party with other players, like, their characters can never leave your party. So if you want to go play single player, like, from what I understand, like, those two characters, like, say me and Willie were in your party, those two player characters are basically like NPCs following you around, and you have no way of getting them out of your party or even sending them to the camp.
Oh, damn. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, so like that's the one thing I've heard complaints about in that game.
I think in that case, maybe I would just create a separate character to play with you guys or something. But in any case, I already know. Be like, all right, Nate, what's your character? Half-orc barbarian. No, really?
You don't know, man. You don't know me at all.
Half-orc barbarian, baby. Actually, you might even go dragonborn barbarian.
Or Goliath's not an option?
I don't think so. Let me quickly... Baldur's Gate 3 races. Gate 3 races. So, we got dragonborn, drow, dwarf, elf, gnome, Githyanki, or maybe Githyanki. Half elf, half orc.
Go home, Githyanki.
Halfling, human, and tiefling. Or tiefling, whichever you prefer. Dragonborn. I almost made a dragonborn. Almost, but I made a human.
I just had so much trouble playing a fantasy game and being a person. You know, just like, I don't want to be some guy.
What's your character class? Accounts receivable.
Actually, I am a fighter that ended up, when you get to the point where you can choose your specialization, I went the one that gets some spells. So I sling blades and spells all day along with this dick.
I knew that one was coming, but I still liked it.
Which, by the way, have you guys seen what they're calling the dick jump scares on Twitch with this game?
No.
So there are Twitch streamers that didn't realize this game has full nudity. And they're in the character creator, and they're like, oh, I wonder what my character looks like without their shirt on, you know? And so they click the hide clothes button, and all of a sudden, boom, dick and balls, or boom, titties and vulva. Like, full clip, all there. And I love it because all the videos that I've seen that are that little compilations of it make me laugh because each one is ended with the one guy who's clicking through and he's like, all right, which one do we want? Do we want penis A, penis B, penis C, penis D, penis D? Eh? It's like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I do like you can set your character to be like, if you want to be a trans character, you can 100% do that. If you want to be like a what's the word I'm looking for? Non-binary. I believe you can do that as well. So, you know, I think that's cool because it's a fantasy game. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, give him those options because it's like, dude, you can do whatever you want in these games. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that would be really whack as hell if they were like, well, you can be a dragon man, but you can't be like a lady with a penis or black.
yeah.
Like, that would stretch the disbelief way too much.
It's like, we're being chased by orcs. Are you not a white person? Well, buddy, get out of here. Like, if you're not white or green, you have no place in this story. Come on.
You don't even look fantasy Italian. Get out of here.
Oh, man. But yeah, dude, it's really good. It's really rekindling my love for those style of stories and really makes me miss playing D&D too. Like,
oh, yeah.
Tolkien is very mad at you too right now for suggesting there be other races.
Fuck Tolkien.
I don't think Tolkien would be mad about it. It's just he wrote a very British story because he was very British.
So true. He wasn't Lovecraft. It's fine.
No, it's just he was like, what if I write a bunch of really English people in the side of Norse mythology? That would be fun.
Yeah. Who would have thought somebody who could like pull these disgusting, ridiculous horrors from their brain would also just have these terrible life views?
Yeah, Lovecraft sucks, dude.
Oh, man. Well, I suppose that's about all I have to talk about for the past few weeks. Just being sick and
hell,
games.
Dagon, if you take the last letter off, that's like...
What? Well, I'm not even going to ask.
It is a slur for the Italians.
Yes.
Oh. Gotcha. Gotcha. I mean, there was a really popular song that is also a slur for Italians.
Wait, which one? Hold on. Let me see if I can figure out what this one is.
She got that.
Oh. Yeah, okay, I see, yeah.
Damn it.
Spelled differently, but I see where you're coming from on this one. Yeah.
A short hike is an adventure video.
O-dubs!
O-dubs? A short hike is an adventure video game.
This is just this is, even by this show's standards, not a family-friendly one.
That's fine.
By Canadian indie game designer Adam Robinson Yu. It's because the game we're about to talk about is so pure. Also,
I know, that's the worst part, is this game is like really sweet.
It's an open world exploration game in which the player is tasked with reaching the summit of a mountain to get cell phone reception. The game was released for Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, and Linux in July of 2019, for Switch in August of 2020, and for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One in November of 2021. Now, something I learned about this game from watching, because I watched the GDC conference with the guy who made this, Adam Robinson Yu. And the U is part of his name. I'm not just like Alex Robinson Yu. I mean Adam Yu. But he was talking about how, so he made this game and he first released this game on Humble Bundle through Humble Games, and there were some features that didn't make it to that version of the game that were featured in the Steam and itch.io release. One of them being fishing. So I was like, nice. And what's funny is that I played the itch.io version of this. I don't think we all did.
Yep.
I opened up Steam today and I was looking at the games I had installed from Ryan's library on Steam, and one of them was a short hike.
Nice.
And I was like, nice. I already had that installed. Oh, well, whatever. So I uninstalled it. But
yeah, I definitely got this in a bundle, one of the bundles on itch.io.
So first impressions of this. I'm gonna go, Nate, you first because this was your choice. So, like, what made you pick it? What did you think at first?
Yeah, I decided to pick this game because, like, we needed a short game to kind of give ourselves some time to breathe with trails and everything. Yeah. And, this game's just, I've always kind of seen it in my library. It's just like a really super cute looking game. And, one of my favorite things to do is be outside and go for hikes. So I was like, this is a video game called A Short Hike. Kind of fits the bill for a bunch of different things I like. And let's just roll with it and see it. And plus, like, the art style in this game was just super cute and fun and good to look at. So I really enjoyed that as well. So my first impression was getting into the game and pretty much lives up to what you expect from it. Just a cute little thing. It actually was a little bit more involved than I kind of initially thought it was going to be. I kind of more or less expected kind of like a more heavy narrative game, like more of a walking simulator type thing than anything else.
Me too.
And then this game actually had gameplay. Like, I was actually really surprised by that. And plus a whole mishmash ton of different little side quests and things you could get yourself into. So I kind of thought that was really pretty pleased with what I picked out when I got into it, not having a full, huge knowledge of the game.
I loaded into it, started running around. I'm like, man, this game's really cute. And then I got to this wall, and it was like, you must collect these items before you can move on. I went, God damn it, Nate. No, I'm just kidding.
Punch you in the head, Dalton.
No, I'm just kidding. I thought this game was just really adorable right off the bat. And man, so one of the first things I did was I turned the pixelation down slightly.
How dare you?
It looked fine, but like I just wanted to see clear. And with me having, like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, when I was playing this game, was I think before I got sick, but I loaded it up again not too long after I had first started getting sick, and I was like feverish, and I couldn't see shit. But well, the reason I bring that up is I turned down the pixelation, and this game manages to be pretty, whether you're pixelating the shit out of it or not. So like whichever setting you decide to go on, it's still a really wonderful cutesy vibe to it. And yeah,
I think like the retro pixel style is mainly done through shaders rather than like anything
I gotta confess something. I didn't know you could turn down the pixelation. Otherwise, I probably would have as well. Like, I still like the way it looked, but I thought I could have used a little less pixelization. So that's actually really interesting. I didn't know that was a feature in the game.
Yeah, we'll see your boy. Anytime I load into a new game, first thing I do is go check graphic settings and video settings to make sure they're where they need to be.
Yeah, me too, mainly because I want to make sure subtitles are on.
That as well. Yeah, please give me subtitles. Por favor.
Yeesh.
And I mean, I'm talking like even on YouTube, when I'm on YouTube, I put subtitles on. Like, dude, yeah, I want to be able to look up and read it if I need to. Yeah, so what about you, Willie? What was your like first impression popping into this?
I think the very first thing I noticed, aside from like the really cute art style, was like I just absolutely loved the speech bubbles and stuff, the way characters talked, because it felt like very much like an AIM conversation or a Discord conversation. Like, everyone talks in the most casual way, and it's just really cute, realistic, and understandable. Like, I feel like I got a better concept of these characters because they talked like Discord messages than I would have if they talked like RPG speech bubbles where everyone's like, "Prithee, go to yon fireplace and grabbeth the torch."
I didn't even put that together, but the way you describe it also makes me think the way this game is written reminds me of another indie title a lot, and that's Celeste, as far as the way it's written.
Another game about going up a really big hill.
I definitely got the vibe from this game that, like, if they were to do an Atlas crossover and Prinny would have shown up and been like, "Sup, dude?" Like, it would have just fit. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, I don't know where that thought came from, but yeah. My brain still half scrambled from being fried for a few days. So yeah, you guys know how it goes.
Scrambled and fried, man. The yolk's on you.
Dalton's brain sounds like something you could order at Waffle House right now.
Yeah.
Yo, Dalton, not when you smothered and covered like my Waffle Hash sprouts.
Oh, does that mean you're coming quicker than FedEx?
Jesus.
I don't know the next line.
Coming quicker than FedEx, have origin apex, and the chemical and stop. You are inclined to make me rise an hour early, just like daylight savings time. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, any other first thoughts, Willie?
I was actually really pleasantly surprised by how fluid the motion was in the game, because I actually thought it was gonna. It looked like if you just took a screenshot of it and looked at it, it felt like it would have like really stiff 8-directional controls or whatever. And actually, no, it's got really, really smooth movement. Like the movement technology in the game starts off great and only gets better the more.
We'll say it was so high sensitivity that like I discovered through playing this game that my Xbox controller has a slight drift.
Oh man. Yeah, I will agree that like for an indie game, I thought the movement handled smooth like butter. You know, compared to honestly, you know, looking at the graphical style, I'm like, all right, this might control like a PS1 era style game. Like that might be what it's going for, and it didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I was impressed.
I think that's a really good nail on the head moment for us right here too, though. So like this game does have a fairly PS1 like vibe to the graphic style of it, but it plays like you said like a modern game. If there's no tank controls here, you're not going to have to Lara Croft through it.
Yeah. As far as like story goes, I mean, it's really straightforward. You're trying to get to the top of the mountain to get cell phone reception
because you're expecting an important phone call. Yeah. Have we mentioned you're a bird yet? Because I
don't think we have.
Everything's an animal in this game.
Yeah. And so one of the main collectibles you pick up in the game is a golden feather, which gives you the ability to do like basically another flap jump, kind of like a double jump in the air or whatever, or to climb for longer if you like scale a wall. So the more the golden feathers you have, the more like free your movement is, and you can also glide for free without using the feathers. So you basically need to collect like at least I think 10 feathers to get to the top of the game.
Yeah, I think it's around 10, and there's an abundance of feathers. Like there's multiple different ways to find them. You can buy a couple from like the information station halfway up like the hill or whatever, and then you find some in treasure chests and other things like that. And then, you know, I guess this is a story beat that we can kind of move into from here. Is like there's a guy that's like at the base where he says like, you know, you really need 7 golden feathers to make it up this part of the hill, and this guy's like, hey, I got some feathers if you want to buy them. They're 100 gold or whatever the currency in this game is each. And then Claire's like, what? Why? The ones down at the information center are 50 each. And he's like, yeah, if you want more, you gotta come get them from me, because apparently this kid bought out the information center and was trying to sell them. And at first I was like, I do not want to give this guy any money, so I'm just going to find the feathers elsewhere. And I did. And then, but eventually I was like, you know what? I want more feathers to see how much more I can explore and how much faster I can get up to places. So I was like, fine, I'm going to go buy one from this guy. And you go through this guy's story question, like, this guy's a dick trying to gouge people. You find out he's just trying to pay for college tuition.
Yeah.
So you're just like, oh, no, I don't feel bad buying from you. I feel bad for judging your motives.
He's just hustling, man.
Yeah.
He's on that grind set, Sigma male.
I think my favorite, and I came across him pretty early on. One of my favorite moments is the dude that's just fishing.
Yeah.
And you walk up to him and he's like, yeah, come on, sit down, fish. You sit down with him, you cast out, and nothing happens. Your character's like, am I doing this right? The dude's just like, yep. Are you sure I'm doing this right? Yep. You know, it's just like pretty much just telling her like, shut up, be patient. Like, it'll happen, and then it does. It's just like, man, that's such a moment that I feel like every kid had with like their grandpa / dad or whoever taught them fishing. Is yeah.
Is this what this is what it's supposed to be like? Yep. Shut up.
Yep. Enjoy, and you learn to enjoy it.
Shut up, Nathan. While he takes a swig of beer.
Yes, sir. Except my grandpa was more like he had a sweet tea. But yeah,
I think me and Willie actually had a similar experience with the fishing. Like I know Willie said it in our chat, but I did it too. It's like where it's like, oh, you finally get a bite, and it tells you all the prompt on how to do it on the screen, and I did it.
It's like hold X and pull back or something like that.
And I just fell right in the water instead of falling.
So when it said pull back, I thought like hit down on the controller, kind of like how pulling back on a joystick or whatever. And no, that just walks you straight off of the bridge and into the water.
So like
it means back as in away from your bobber directionally.
So I was glad that I wasn't the only one to do that. As far as fishing mini games go, though, not bad. Pretty well executed.
Pretty good stuff.
Not bad.
Yeah. A little bit more.
I had a good time.
It was more in depth than the other ones I played. Like this fishing game was way better than the fishing mini game in like Terraria. Yeah, I was down. Like I actually, after I beat the game, I went back in just to do more fishing a couple times.
Nate, I think you would really enjoy the fishing in Stardew Valley.
I've seen some clips of that, and it does look really fun.
Dude,
like,
let me go ahead and tell you, full cap, fucking fishing in Stardew Valley is not easy.
Yeah,
not easy at all.
I've heard that it's actually not.
It's fun. It's not easy.
See, I would love to try it. Like Stardew Valley is one of those games that I'm worried is like not for
your life,
or just not for me, because like whenever we tried to play Graveyard Keeper for the show a couple of years ago, like I could not. I wanted to like it, try to get into it. I couldn't get into Graveyard Keeper, so I'm kind of worried. Stardew Valley would do similar. I was worried I wouldn't like Terraria, but that one worked out. So who knows?
You bought. Oh, excuse me. You bought Red Dead 2, didn't you?
I did.
Dude, I installed that game and was playing it the other night while Baldur's Gate was downloading. Just because I wanted to fish. Fishing in that game is real good, dude. And I have this trainer, so I went and stood up on this rock, and I spawned in like 50 legendary alligators. So these things are fucking massive. And I just spawned in like 50 of them and let them all swim through the river. And then I hopped in a canoe and was just canoeing down the river. Because as long as you're in a boat, they won't fuck with you. So it was just hilarious. There was all these like literally Lake Placid size alligators just floating around in this big ass river. And I'm just sitting in my canoe fishing.
That's awesome.
I'm going to scare all the fish to me, boys.
Man. Yeah, like I've actually been kind of in that fishy mood lately. I've been loading up Ultimate Fishing Simulator a little bit again and playing that every once in a while. And like, if it wasn't so damn hot, I'd probably go get a fishing license right now and just find a place on the river to go fish because I miss it. I haven't done it in a long time. But one thing, speaking of Ultimate Fishing Simulator, apparently they're releasing a mobile version.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be like, and I've kind of lost faith in it since it has a new dev team and everything now, but I don't know. I might check it out. We'll see.
Man, I hope everybody at Bit Golem's okay.
I know.
Because, like, they've been pretty radio silent with everything going on in their part of the world, so I'm hoping they're all right.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they're all right, because they were Russian, weren't they?
I thought they were
Polish.
Oh, they were Polish.
Yeah, pretty sure Polish is right, yeah.
Never mind. Well, then where the fuck is Tales from Herring Lake, motherfuckers? You're not part of Russia.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, we want trails into Herring Lake.
There's the crossover.
Crossover I didn't know I needed, but...
JRPG fishing game.
Hey, man, the fishing's not the worst either in Trails in the Sky.
No, it's not. You just gotta get your timing right.
Yeah.
Get your timing right. So, do we want to talk about the actual, like, when you get to the top of the mountain? I guess there's more to talk about on the way up.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, ultimately kind of the idea is, like, when you first start the game, your character really is just interested in getting cell phone reception, but the more you explore, I feel like the more you get kind of caught up in both meeting new people and then exploring further. Like, I feel like you end up getting into this explore for its own sake type loop that I feel like kind of, like, I don't know, it feels like it's like diegetic growth for the character herself, because she at first is not very interested in what's going on in the park at all, but the more you get into it, the more it seems like she actually is taking an interest in everyone around her, and just... I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and I agree with that assessment as well, because, like, you know, when you first started, like, I picked this game because it was short, and I was like, I'm not going to get sidetracked, I'm just going to beat it and get... But, like, the more I got into it, the more I was like, let's talk to this guy, let's talk to this guy, let's talk to this guy, and just the more and more stuff that they gave you to do was like, I want to do this because there was this character that you run into. Like, there's apparently a race going on the mountain, and she lost her lucky headband, and so like you got to go try to help her find her lucky headband. But I don't know, just little things like that were super like charming and actually fun to do. Like, I didn't mind the side quests in this game when they popped up.
Not all of them even really feel like side quests. Some of them were just like you keep re-encountering, like the painter, for instance. I was really interested in the painter story.
Yeah,
you know?
I liked the painter a lot.
Oh, but one of them that I really liked as well was there was this person that was camping out. I ran into. They're like, "Oh God, please don't tell anybody I'm camping here without my permit. A fish ate it." You're like, "A fish ate it?" She's like, "Yeah, I promise. It's this kind of fish." Blah blah blah. You're like, "Okay, sure, whatever." And then I went fishing for a really long time, and I caught a fish. Like, wait, this fish has something. It had their camping permit.
That's
I was
fantastic.
so hoping that would be something.
So I found their camping permit and returned it to them, and they were super happy.
Oh, that rules.
I also just the overall feeling of the story, and like you said, you know how like when she first gets there, she doesn't really want to be there. She just wants to get reception on her phone. I feel like that's very relatable. Where like anyone playing the game has probably been in a situation where when you first get there, you're like, fuck, I do not want to be here. I do not want to be doing this. But then you start talking to people that are there or doing whatever, and you kind of warm up to it. And then suddenly you're having a good fucking time, and you've forgotten all about the misery that you put yourself through on the way there, dreading it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I thought that was, it's a very cool, relatable type story. And I like that a lot.
And I want to go ahead and say this. I know you sounded like you were itching to talk about the ending of the game. And I want to go ahead and say I actually think that maybe we shouldn't spoil it, but I do think that after all the events of the game, it does recontextualize the initial looking for reception thing in a really interesting way. Yeah. Like, I feel like there's a believable growth in the character, but also it makes the original thing make a lot of sense too.
Yeah. And I will say that about this game too, is like, it's short. Maybe we shouldn't spoil it, and you can go find it for yourself because... spoiler alert, I'm going to recommend that people play this game because I think that given its length and the way that it personally made me feel, I would highly actually recommend people play this one.
It was in several of the itch.io bundles. I know it was in the one for racial justice, which is I think the one I got it from. I think it may have also been in the Ukraine.
You very well may have this game and not even know it.
Yeah,
exactly.
One thing I will say is and I noticed this today. And I posted about this on the Discord. This game is currently on Xbox Game Pass, so if you have an Xbox or you have the PC version, you can go ahead and just download and play this game for free. They listen to our show. What can I say?
Yeah, right.
They knew we were about to release this episode, so.
Yo, Microsoft, if you want to pay us enough money to rebrand to a Game Pass show, hit us up. We'll talk money. We'll talk behind the scenes.
We'll be Halo's Angels.
Whatever we need. Chiefs Teefs.
Even with all the stuff that we've kind of mentioned before, there's still a lot of little side stuff that we haven't mentioned at all. Like there's collectibles in this game, like little shells that you can collect 15 of for an NPC, and something happens when you do that.
FYI, I got 14, and I meant to go get the last one before we did the show, and I just didn't.
One of the things the guy mentioned in the GDC thing was the fact that a lot of people, he noticed when they were first playing through this game, would walk right by the shovel and not pick up the shovel, and then see all these spots where you could dig and be like, what am I supposed to do with that? But it's because they just ran right past the shovel. Mm-hmm. So he said that he had to take it, and I think he said he moved it for the re-release to where it was a little more visible.
Okay.
Or something. So.
Yeah, and there's little items like that you can pick up throughout the game. One of my favorites was you could find a stick. And Claire, the character you play as, just kind of swings it like a sword, but it doesn't really do anything. It's just this fun little...
I wondered, I never found a use for the stick.
It was just a fun little thing you could pick up and swing around and have fun with.
Did you guys ever play the volleyball game that you had to use the stick?
I actually got... Yeah,
you do for that, but they provide them there. But there's sticks everywhere throughout the game before you get there.
Yeah. I also got the 30 points on the stick ball game my first try.
Damn, son. I think it was my third or fourth try I got it.
That was a pretty fun little mini game.
Yeah. Also, I like that like at the end of the game, your character does kind of recap some of the things that happened. And when I was talking to Aunt May, who is the character you're staying with, and by the way, that is funny that her name is Aunt May. Like, good for her. I
mean, probably not good for her because I'm sure she's a widow.
She did seem to be alone.
But so I found a rock that if you hit it with the shovel, it would spin money out. And she was like, Claire was like, I found a rock that if you strike it, it gives you money. And Aunt May was like, you found a money rock? You mean to tell me you found a money rock? I find that really hard to believe. That's more of a West Coast thing. Those aren't really out here in Ontario.
That's funny. See, I didn't ever find it.
I was like, I didn't even realize the game took place in Canada until that moment.
I did not realize that either. It's really funny.
You guys didn't notice the ferns and the trees and the I can't even think of the word that I'm looking at. Geographical landmarks that would tell you that this is obviously Canada and not America. Because I mean, everyone was nice for one.
That is true. Everyone was really.
I know, even the guy that was charging double price for gold feathers was nice.
Yeah, he
was charging for his college tuition and his healthcare. So that's how you know.
Damn. One thing I also am really grateful for about this game is that I did not play it on Steam. The reason for that, and I'm glad that I had this on itch rather than Steam, was I did look up this game on Steam after I played it, just because I wanted to see something. This game does have achievements.
Oh, yeah.
If I had been playing this on Steam, instead of enjoying the experience, I would have been chasing achievements.
But instead, the game really, I think it invites you to play it at your own pace and then finish it when you're ready to. I feel like that's one of the biggest strengths of this game.
I have also, through my watching that GDC and then just like reading some things about this game is apparently pretty popular in the speedrunning community for people who are just starting to get into speedrunning. Apparently, this is a good game.
Yeah, Nate, didn't you say there was like a 2-minute run of it? How the hell does that go?
I meant to, but I didn't. But yeah, there's like a 3-minute.
Damn it.
Run of this game. I'm like, there has to be some kind of glitch or something, but yeah, I didn't end up watching it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I forgot about that until now.
But yeah, I would like to see the speedrun of this game. Something I'll check out after we record, but because I used to be a speedrunner, and I think speedrunning is pretty neat.
I don't think I have the patience for it.
Oh, it'll annoy the shit out of you. It did me, at least.
Like, I get like hyper fixated on doing it sometimes. Like Shadow Blade Reload, the first level in that game, not any of the other levels, just the first level of that game. I am like, I want to get this as quick as possible. I don't give a fuck about any of the levels, but just that first level, I've played it so many times. I'm like, no, I should be able to breeze through this easy.
Yeah. Like when I was debating on the short games I wanted to play, there was another game that I had considered that I've played before called 10 Second Ninja X. That's basically speed run the game. Like, it's all these levels that wants you to complete in under 10 seconds. It's really interesting, fun game, but it's like, I'm glad I went with something a little bit different. I'm really glad I picked this game.
Very relaxed game.
This game feels like what I needed right now. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So, is there anything else you guys want to touch on, or do you want to give ratings?
I feel like...
I would like to say I did comment on the writing earlier, where I like the really casual way the characters speak. There's a little depth to it. You do run into characters multiple times, so you do get more to meet some of them. But I also want to say I liked the dynamic music too. Like there does have like there's like music as you enter different areas and stuff that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean for a project that was pretty much done by one dude and then some other people that he had brought in to help him with certain things. It's a beautiful little experience.
Yeah.
It has the kind of same, like, singularity of purpose as, like, a Game Jam game almost, but it's, like, incredibly polished for that.
I'm getting this information off Wikipedia, so forgive me, but, like, the composer of this game was apparently one guy named Mark Sparling, and he said that his, like, influences of this were Studio Ghibli, Animal Crossing New Leaf, and even, like, Sufjan Stevens, which I can see that.
Yeah, all three of those make a lot of sense.
Major Animal Crossing vibes, for sure.
And I'm just like, I kind of want to know, I would kind of like to look up this composer to see more things that he's done now, because like I feel like he did, if those are his influences, he nailed it on this game.
Yeah.
So like that's pretty cool. Makes me want to play some more little short indie games too. So like I'm gonna go through my itch.io catalog, because like I bought the Ukraine bundle. I still haven't even put everything onto my itch launcher from that yet. It was a big bundle, y'all. But yeah,
it's like Mark Sparling.
I'd definitely be down to play some more of this guy Robinson Hughes games as well, because this is very, very good. If it's indicative of his skill level at making games, I'm really impressed.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and
so I guess we should probably move on to ratings then.
One last thing I'll say, because you guys mentioned the developer himself. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. He mentioned that he was like working on something else that's like a longer, bigger, epic thing. And it was like, I think he was saying he was burning out on it or whatever. And then he took a break to do this short game, which ended up becoming a hit. So he was like, so I'm interested in what that other project was that he was working on.
Yeah, because honestly, I could see myself buying this game on the Switch just so I could have it portable, because I think it was that good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't disagree. If you search Adam Robinson Yu, it brings up AdamGryu.com, and it just on Google says Adam's cool website.
Gotta love indie developers, man.
He's making an untitled paper RPG.
So Mans is working on an RPG. That's cool.
Interesting. The screenshots for whatever this game. Oh man, Nate, I'm torn on this.
Yeah.
Actually, and Willie too, because this looks interesting. This paper RPG, but it also reminds me of. Hold on, you'll know exactly. Let me send it to our chat real quick, and then we'll reveal it. Does that kind of remind you of Dragon?
I can kind of see it. Yeah.
A game about a dragon, although better colored in better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Looks interesting.
It's very cute.
It's cute. Yeah, I'll give it that. Because that's not hate towards Dragon Game about a dragon. That was the best part about that whole game, was the way that game looked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That was a really cool aesthetic.
But yeah, we can do some ratings now, boys.
All right. Who wants to start us off?
I'll start for once with this.
Yeah, Dalton's starting off the ratings. Woo!
So, I found this to be a very relaxing experience. It wasn't too in-depth. There wasn't too much going on. It was very much I sat down and played it in one sitting and got through it. I found a couple parts to be a little tedious, but that's more so my failure at playing video games than it was on the game itself. So I don't particularly blame it for that. But it was a good experience. I'll give it a 7.5. Feathers out of wing flaps.
I'm going to go ahead and say, this game, it's weird because when I first started playing it, I thought it was going to be a lot smaller than it was. And I feel like it was about a Link's Awakening sized game ultimately, which was kind of surprising because it doesn't take anywhere near as long to complete it. But it was so much bigger and more interesting than I expected. And I went in with okay, this is just going to be a fun little pleasant experience. There's going to be a short hike. But man, all the little Johnson journeys and stuff I went on really expanded it out to be a substantively awesome game in a lot of really interesting ways. And I want to give it 9 golden feathers out of 10.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah. I was really impressed with this one, honestly. I think it hit me at a really good time when I needed a game like this, because I've been, like I said, dealing with my own garbage lately, and just having something this light, airy, and I feel like it had a really good message in the end as well. And just something like that to kind of take my mind off of how I've been feeling and all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed this a lot. It left an impact on me for those reasons. And I know I've been trying to be a little bit harder on games lately, and I think I need to continue that trend on this one as well, because there was a time where I would have given this a higher score, but I think I want to give this one an 8.5. Golden feathers out of shells.
This feels like the kind of game that normally I would hard cap the possible score at 8, just because it is, small and unambitious in a way. But it's just such a perfect example of what it's doing. Like, I feel like it is kind of exceptional in its own way, and that's why I went above my usual scale for a game this size.
I've heard people say that, like, this is the Unity version of, like, To the Moon. Like how To the Moon was for RPG Maker. Where it was just this narrative experience that once you were done with it, you were like, holy shit. And people have compared it to whereas like this, where you play through it and then you get to that moment at the end and you're like, oh, there's emotion in this game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
I felt emotion throughout the game.
The thing about that, too, and I will just put it this, I didn't feel like it was... You did have emotion throughout it, but I don't feel like it was ever emotionally manipulative like some things can be.
Yeah. No, it wasn't, and it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't like cheesy or lame or false in any way.
It felt really real and down to earth, which is funny because you're a bird.
Absolutely. Birds aren't from Earth.
They're not even real.
Yeah. They're not. Government drones, baby. So...
The government isn't even real.
Yeah. Y'all want to move on to questions from our listeners?
No, but we have to. That's how the show goes.
Sure.
All right. The first one comes in from Adam. And what is a game series you don't know if you like, but even so, you own a majority of the series games?
Fuck, I meant to look. Dude, so many. Hold on.
Yeah.
You guys can go ahead.
Okay, so I will start with this. Because for some reason, when I decided I was going to buy a few games, I was going to buy a game from the series, I went ahead and bought the entire series. So, I've played one game from the series, and I really liked it. So, I don't know if I like the series or not, but I really like the second game in the series. So, for me, I'm going to give this to Resident Evil.
Okay.
I really can't think of anything. This is a really out there question. I like the idea of it, but, like, I mean, I guess you could say, like, I probably own, like, 8 or 9 Final Fantasy games, and I don't know if I necessarily, like, still like Final Fantasy the way I did as a kid.
That's
I
fair.
don't know. But I don't even know if that's a majority of the series. I can count all the, like, Dash 2s and Crisis Cores and Vincent Goes to Hollywood or whatever.
So, boy, where do I start? I guess I can start alphabetically. So, the first one that jumps out to me, since I own them all and none of them are installed right now, Deus Ex. Deus Ex. I bought...
Definitely one I think would be an interesting one to do for the show.
Me too, because...
In part because I think that it's the actual game that, like, the way I talked about Half-Life before we played it, I think that's actually the game Nate was expecting was basically Deus Ex.
Oh, you're talking about the original Deus Ex.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Not like Human Revolution or whatever.
Yeah. Or Mankind Divided or any of them. What we ought to do is start with The Fall, which apparently is the worst one.
Or we could play good games that we like and have a good time.
I don't know. We do have Duke Nukem coming up, so...
That's true, but man...
Maybe. I don't know. There's still time for it to lose them.
There's been some campaigning against it already. But yeah, Deus Ex, another one that jumps out to me that I own a bunch of and I've never played, I've owned all of them, is Fear. Again, I own a bunch of the Final Fantasies, haven't played all of them. I own a lot of Half-Life games, but I pretty much know about those. I own almost all of the Lego games that are available on
That
Steam.
is a very good question. Do you like them or not? That's hard to know.
I feel like you could play it for like 40 hours and still think, I don't know if I liked it. I just thought I might have had a good time.
I own all the Leisure Suit Larry games. Not sure. I mean, I'm sure I'll find them funny.
Yeah.
But
here's a series.
I'm not sure how some of those old
Here's
ones.
a series that I bought the games for, and I have never played them. BioShock.
There you go. I own BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite, and
Same.
I've only like dabbled in Infinite.
I played none of them. I bought them all because I was like, I'm going to pick this for the show soon. Ladies and gentlemen, he did not pick it for the show soon. He bought those 2 years ago.
I can speak on it now because we played it, one of them for the show, but at the time I bought all the Quake games and I didn't know. I was like, I don't know. Which they
Wait, like all the Quake games? How many is all the Quake games?
I have Quake, Quake 2, Quake 3 Arena, Quake 3 Team Arena, Quake 4, and then Quake 2 RTX version.
I never can remember Quake 4 existing.
Resident Evil games. Saints Row 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, so there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many, dude.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Sounds good. Okay, so I guess for our next question, this one comes in from Master Loot. Which game has the best world traversal mechanics, in your opinion?
Spider-Man Remastered Web Slinging. I'm going to the bathroom. You guys talk
that
about
is
it.
a really good choice, though.
What a mic drop.
Yeah, the mic drop moment was like, I was sitting here racking my brain trying to come up with one, and he just, like, honestly fucking nailed it in one, because that game is so much fun and feels so good to traverse the world in. It's a small world, but it's a good world.
The one that jumps out to me is from Divinity 2 Eco Draconis. Once you unlock the ability to turn into a dragon, and you can just run and jump off a cliff and hit a button, and your dude just tucks and does a front flip, and in the midst of that front flip turns into a fucking dragon, and then flops your wings out, and then you start flying, and it's awesome.
That does sound really good. See, I was struggling to come up with this, because one thing that I don't like a lot, I understand the necessity of it in these bigger games, but I am not a huge fan of the necessity of fast travel mechanics. Like, I love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and the worlds are fun to be in and play in, but they do require, in my opinion, fast travel to be able to get to places and do things, and I am not a huge fan of fast travel. It kind of takes you out of the moment of what you were doing. Like, oh, I went from the desert to the mountains in a flash. It kind of removes that aspect of the game. So, like, I was having trouble thinking of something good, because I love playing those games and the way they feel, but the world traversal through fast travel just does not feel great to me.
I used to, through modding, remove fast travel from Skyrim. So, like, if I wanted to get around, I had to go outside of a major city or go to the carriage and pay the dude and ride the carriage. And I mean, that was still a cutscene.
Ride the Schuhpuff!
Ride the Schuhpuff! And that's still a cutscene, you know. I'm sure there are mods where you can actually ride that whole ride if you want to, but I couldn't just load up my map menu and click something and fast travel to it immediately.
You know, this isn't better than what Willie said, but I want to give this game credit, because I think Willie hit the nail on the head. I think that game does have the best travel mechanics, is Spider-Man. But I think a game that did this well, because it's huge, and it didn't really use fast travel other than, you know, warping from star system to star system, which I feel like is a necessity. I think No Man's Sky actually handles travel really well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that game's ability to transition from, you know, interplanetary to then out into space and stuff.
Yeah.
Was so smooth for what it was actually doing.
That was probably one of the most impressive parts of that game to me. So I will give credit to No Man's Sky on that one. If I want to give myself an individual game, I'm going to say No Man's Sky, because I don't want to steal Willie's answer, because it's the correct answer.
The fact that Spider-Man has fast travel,
I never used it, man.
and no one ever uses it. Like, you can pop down into the subway, and what's funny is on the original PS4, because the load times weren't what they are, you know, on our SSDs and stuff. You'd go into the subway and it'd show Spider-Man sitting there like flipping through his phone while somebody's asleep on his shoulder.
Nice.
And now you just go into the subway and it shows like a quick blip of him sitting on a subway, and then it's like, oh, you're there. And it's like, oh man.
I bet New Yorkers wish that.
Oh, you're finally
New Yorkers
awake.
wish that's what subway travel was actually like.
Fucking right, bro. As somebody who has ridden the subway in New York, yeah. For sure. Rickety old fucking thing.
All right, so let's move on to this next question. And it's a fuck, marry, kill. Oh. So we have Hank Hill, Dale Gribble, or Bill Dauterive, King of the Hill.
Marion Hank, stability. Fucking Bill to make him feel better. Killing Dale because he's already going to expect it anyway. That's a thinker.
I just think that that's the correct answer, because if Boomhauer was on here, he would obviously be the fuck, right? But
Oh yeah.
like, you need Hank Hill for this.
Come on, hand.
Yeah,
What that tongue do?
You need Hank Hill for that stability for sure. Dale will give you nothing.
Yeah.
He just seems like a bad flay and a bad person. So like, you got to give the fuck to Bill, man.
I mean, even his own wife wouldn't argue that point.
But he's a good dad, and like that's Dale's thing. At the end of the day, is like he is this really weird guy, but he really cares about Joseph.
That's true.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Hank Hill also is a good dad.
Damn it,
No,
Bobby.
I know. I'm not arguing. Damn it, Bobby.
Maybe not always understanding, but he tries his best.
Butterfree. I choose you.
Yeah, King of the Hill is such a good show, because I think Hank Hill is such a relatable father figure in my life, at least.
Dude, he reminds me so much of my grandpa.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like,
Because it's like he's not great, but he's doing his best, and you gotta respect that. You know?
I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but this is the Hank Hill moment where it clicked in my head that my grandpa reminded me of Hank Hill. We're riding in the car, and my grandpa and me were talking about religion. And I was like, what? Because I used to go to church. And he goes, you pretty much go to church just to hang out with your friends, don't you? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I like to hang out with my friends, but I also love Jesus. And my grandpa goes, you want to know my opinion on religion? Sure, Grandpa. Well, Dalton, you know, if there's a loving God up there that is going to love you and take care of you no matter what, as long as you believe in him, but if you do something wrong, he's going to make you burn for eternity in a place that's just unthinkable. Well, that just don't seem right to me. Whole end of the conversation, and I was just like, what a Hank Hill ass thing to say. Like, he should have just ended that with Bobby. And
So what I'm getting from your grandfather is raise hell, praise Dale.
raise hell, praise Dale. Exactly.
Now your grandfather seems like a cool dude. All right, let's move to this next question. And correct me in the Discord if I am wrong about how to pronounce this. And that's your name, Jish. But Jish asked us, why does Claire even have a cell phone if she's never had reception? I don't think she's never had reception. She was dropped off by her mother at the park. When she got to the park, she didn't have reception. Before she got to the park, she had reception.
She's from the big city, yeah. She's not from Hawk Peak.
Yeah, I believe that she loses it, because I think that's one of the things in the beginning of the game where she's like, I can't, my phone's still not working.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite the rabble, but
I don't know. Rabble. Okay, this next one is from Jeremy. If you could take a short hike, see what he did there, with any living celebrity, who would it be? So it does say living.
I feel like so short is like within 30 minutes.
Oh, so let's go with that.
Less than an hour, yeah.
a short hike. Celebrity.
I actually think Stephen Fry would be a really interesting guy to just chat with for about 30 minutes to an hour.
That would be a good one.
Like, I don't know if I have enough stuff to talk to him for longer than that, but about that long, I feel like, yeah.
Well,
I hate that he said...
Oh, no, go ahead. You had something.
I was just going to say, I hate that he said living, because I immediately knew
I know what your answer is for dead.
But what?
Anthony Bourdain.
100%. Yeah. Goddamn right. So living...
I can cover for you for a minute there. So if I could pick a short hike with any living celebrity, I think I'd like to take a trip up to Maine, which is already a great place to go hiking, and take a hike with Stephen King. Like, dude is my favorite author of all time. He's just such a fascinating individual. I would just love to have a talk with him. But
when you said Maine, I knew you were going to say, what's up, Steven Squad?
I just think that'd be such a cool guy to go hang out with for a little bit.
For sure, man. Smoke cigarettes, do some cocaine, talk about clowns.
I don't think he want to do cocaine with me anymore, but we might get the cigarettes in.
Not anymore. Nate's way too far ahead of his pace now.
Man, okay, so I have two frames of mind of this. It's like...
Any of them named Steven?
One of them...
Oh, we did both like Stevens. I didn't even think about that.
That's why I said Steven Squad, you very good listener.
I didn't get the joke at first, man. I'm sorry.
So I think I'm gonna go...
Isn't the guy that invented SpongeBob Steve? Oh wait, he's not alive. Damn.
Oh man, I lost his fucking name. Alton Brown,
Mhm.
right? Because I think I could learn something really cool from Alton Brown.
Yeah.
And in the same vein, I think Andrew Zimmern would also be super cool. But on the other side, like John Cena, just to pick his brain, because I feel like he would motivate the shit out of me on that hike.
Dude's got built-in camouflage. You would never see where he was going.
That's fair enough. I don't want to accidentally bump into him and knock him off a cliff.
Oh, yes, because you could budge John Cena. I'm sure about that, Dalton.
I am starting to get a little slimmer, so maybe not these days. Maybe like a couple years ago, I might have been able to viscera his ass. but yeah. So I think I'm gonna go Alton Brown though, because I think I could talk to him about food and the science behind food for hours. So a short hike would be not enough time, but enough time for me to be like, man, let me get your number.
Yeah. Let me get your number, girl.
Let me get that number.
Give me them digits out.
I have to say, every time one of us makes an invisible John Cena joke, Willie just looks at us with such disdain.
Oh, no, that's not true. I need to point out, I don't look at them. I don't make eye contact. They don't deserve
He
it.
just gives.
I look with disdain.
In the direction of where he thinks John Cena might be.
I mean, you never know. He can't be seen.
All right.
They both just passed their hand over their face really
All
quickly.
right. So this next one is from Kana, who says, forget your zodiac sign. Which Smash Bros. Character do you always pick? And this was from an image, and it showed the roster of Smash Bros. Ultimate before the DLC came out. But if you want to pick DLC, I'll let you.
You saying that for me so I can say Joker?
If you want to, yes, sir.
So with I pretty much go with Joker. When I've played Smash Brothers, I don't actually own Smash Brothers. I would like to, but I'll get it one day. But like the
Joker's cool though.
Oh my god, what are their names? No one ever uses them, and that's why I used to love using them, because no one knew how to fucking defend against them either.
Ice Climbers?
The Ice Climbers. Yes, bitch. Dude, back in like Brawl, I know this is for Ultimate, but like
How the fuck you go?
back in Brawl and stuff.
The them part is what helps me there. Because they're like the duo character.
I guess I did help you. Yeah.
Dude, I used to, like, my friends would beat the shit out of me at Smash Bros, but I could go in there with Ice Climbers and hold my own because they were like, what do we do with this? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just mashing buttons, but fuck you guys.
I feel...
Ice Climbers have always had some wacky
and I feel like
tech.
that's how it always runs. When I run into an Olimar online, I'm like, I don't know how to fight this.
Yeah. Who the hell plays as Olimar? Take your Elo and go.
Yeah, for me, like, I always like the big boys in these games, and then they added this character to this game. I was like, yep, this is the one I really want to learn and play a lot. I love King K. Rool. He's so much fun, guys. And like, he has the best music in the game, for sure, too. Like, I've always loved Donkey Kong. King K. Rool's such a good villain. I love it.
Gangplank Galley in Smash Bros. Is maybe the best Smash Bros. Song, and that is a lot of competition.
I think we've talked about this before, and this is random as shit. I'm even going to put this joint out. I like to watch SNES Drunk has these compilation videos of the best SNES music. Mm-hmm. And dude, there are so many times that I put those on and I hear something and I'm like, fuck, that is really good. And I look at the screen and it's goddamn Donkey Kong Country. It's one of the, and I'm like, what is up? This sounds like this would be in a space age RPG where something really emotional is happening. And I look up and it's like Jungle Theme from Donkey Kong Country 2. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was David Weiss and
yes,
Kirkhope,
like
right?
incredible composers. Like their music was so good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. It's like the randomness, like the Waterworld map music that I've been so hype about for years now.
That is wildly good shit,
dude.
too.
And there's a remix. If I remember, I'll send it to you guys later in the chat, or I'll post it in the Steam Machine thing on Spotify. When I had made that one of my Yabs Pod songs of the week one time, and when Brian was putting together the Spotify playlist for that, he found this version that's just like this hip hop esque lo-fi version of the Waterworld map music. It is the most fire shit I've ever heard. I don't want to write a rap to it because it's too pretty. You know what I mean? It's just like, I just like listening to it. But dude, there's something about those guys who really knew how to do what they were doing on the SNES with that chipset, I suppose you would call it. But like you said, I don't know, like, what were their names? The guys that did the Donkey Kong? Just, they were beyond good at what they did.
Yeah, David Wise and Grant Kirkhope. Yeah, those guys. They're fantastic.
Grant Kirkhope, man. Why does that sound so familiar to me?
He's been all over the place. He also did like Donkey Kong, or not Donkey Kong, Banjo-Kazooie.
That's what I was thinking of. Banjo-Kazooie. Didn't he do Kingdoms of Amalur? Wouldn't he?
I don't know who did that. Maybe. I wouldn't be... Like, I remember us talking about him on an episode we did for another game, but I can't remember for what, to be honest with you. Because I think we saw the name, we're like, wait, he did the music for this? That's crazy.
Yeah, Kingdoms of Amalur, Grant Kirkhope.
That's wild, son of a bitch. Dude.
Oh, damn.
What? Yeah, crazy.
When it comes to characters I pick in this game, I just kind of pick whoever. But the ones I did main in Smash Ultimate, I was never good with any of them. I wanted to play Luigi, but Luigi is a very one-trick pony in Smash Ultimate. So I ended up playing Ridley when I just wanted to be big and bully people, and Dark Pit when I wanted to be honest.
Yep.
And Pit is Kid Icarus,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Indeed.
I'm learning.
Good job, buddy. Proud of you. Right. This next question comes in from our good buddy, Master Loot. And he asks, what is the longest power outage you experienced, and how did you cope with it? Dalton's from Florida, so I'm assuming he has the biggest one.
I was about to say, I'm like, well...
Because he lives on a coastal boy with hurricanes, so...
Yeah. About... I want to say it was like 2000... This is going to be a wide range, but I was young, so I don't quite remember. It was like between 2004 and 2008. There was this fucking span where we got hit with like 5 fucking hurricanes in a row. Like, as soon as one ended, another one hit. And as soon as that one ended, another one hit. And then while that was hitting, another one hit. Like, we had no power for like a month and a half. Just buying batteries. And, you know, with these fucking stores that were running on generator power. And then eventually it was like, well, they're not there anymore either.
Yeah.
It was fucking rough, dude. Like having to get our news and stuff from the radio.
Yeah, because my wife grew up in South Florida, so like she was in South Florida, living in Homestead, Florida, which is south of Miami, right? And she was there in 1992 with Hurricane Andrew.
Fuck that.
Yeah, which
Fuck
one
that,
of the worst hurricanes in Florida history, and
I was born that year.
yeah, so I've heard a lot of stories about how rough that was, just being without power, kind of like feeling like you're in a third world nation. She was like a little kid at the time too, so it's like you don't have any power in that situation. Your family decides to stay there for the worst hurricane ever, like a Cat 5.
Let me just tell you how ridiculous it is that like my dad would walk outside during the eye of the storm, you know what I'm saying? I'd walk out there with him, he'd be smoking a cigarette. We'd be standing there, the wind's blowing, it's like 40, 50 miles an hour winds, 60 mile an hour winds. And you're just standing there like your clothes are flapping around and stuff, and he's looking around and he's like, well, there's no lightning out here. So I mean, yeah, if you want to go play in the road, because we live on a dirt road, so like me and the neighbor kid Mitchell would go out and play in the puddles and stuff, and then it would be like my dad would sit out there and he'd see lightning and be like, all right, you boys need to come in.
It's crazy, man. Like,
well, welcome to Florida.
Classic Mitchell.
Because me and Willie, you know, we grew up very middle of the country. No hurricanes. We had Tornado Alley and all that stuff being in Kentucky, Tennessee area. Like, I can't remember a really prolonged term of power outage, like more than a day or two max. And honestly, at those points, I had a Game Boy. I was okay. I
definitely lost power for about 7 or 8 days in the 2009 ice storm. You were not here at that point in time. I don't think it hit Tennessee that
I forgot about that one, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was in an apartment and we had to like move all of our shit out of the fridge and into some like coolers, and mainly we just like figured out what bars in the area had electricity so we could go there and charge our phones, and you know, it could have been worse.
Sleeping was horrible though. Oh. Cold nights.
I sleep a lot better in the cold than in the heat
enough.
Anyway, so it was actually kind of
wrap
okay.
up in blankets instead of Like, I have a thing where, like, I don't like my ass crack to be exposed when I'm sleeping. I know that sounds weird. Like, my feet can hang out of the blanket, everything, but, like, I want my waist covered by something. Like, I don't know why.
That's why you never sleep with your butt hanging over the cover, so if the monster underneath tries to eat your ass.
Exactly. That's not my thing.
That's Jeremy is the one under the bed in this situation.
Yeah, exactly why I know. I got to keep it safe from Jeremy at all times.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Yeah. I'm the opposite, though. I have to be, like, completely covered. Like, the only thing I don't have covered is the top of my head when I sleep, because I sleep with my stomach, and, like, my feet up to my ears are covered. I could just have a breathing hole, basically.
If I'm laying on my back, the covers are typically pulled up all the way to my shoulders, and then, like, I lay like this. So, like, my arms and my head are out, and, like, my arms, like, draped over my face, but my body's covered. Unless it's hot as fuck in my room, like if I've been playing something that's intensive on my computer, then I'll just go up to the waist and let my chest be exposed with the fan blowing on it. Like, Jesus Christ, please cool off.
Yeah. Right. So this next question will be from our buddy Master Loot again. How far have you gotten in Trails in the Sky second chapter?
I am in chapter 5.
Yeah, I haven't played a whole lot more since the episode, honestly. I'm about through chapter 2. But I do. Yeah.
And I'm here.
But one thing I will say is, like, I went ahead and ordered a cable for my laptop. Because something I was realizing about playing this RPG is, like, I didn't want to be sitting in my computer room playing it for hours upon hours upon hours. So what I did was I got a cord for this laptop I used to play video games on before I got my gaming PC. It's not a great laptop, but it's good enough to play an old-ass game like Trails in the Sky, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely. So I got this laptop out, installed GOG Galaxy on it. Dalton had to help me rejigger some things to make it work, but I've got it.
Man, it felt good. I got it working.
Yeah, so I've got that working now, and I've been playing that in bed just on this old laptop. It's like pretty good way to do things, if you ask me. So I think I'll be able to get through it, but
I suspect we might need to do one of those splitty things where I leave halfway
and that's
through
fine.
the episode.
That's what it comes down to. Like,
because I will end up finishing the game, obviously.
The only thing I will say about this Trails in the Sky second chapter, I've had a little more trouble getting into it as well. Is like, I feel like the bracer jobs have been more of an interruption for me than they were in the first game. I found them less fun to do at this game. I'm not going to lie. I've been having a little bit less fun with the second game than the first game. If you wanted an update, Master Loot.
I think I told you this in our host chat too, is that I've been avoiding most of the bracer quests other than the go hunt a monster in B area.
Yeah.
You know. But it's
yeah, you could always hunt a monster in my B area anytime, baby.
Jesus Christ.
And then our last one comes from Jeff, who's kind of going the opposite direction of this game. What's the furthest hike you've been on? Where was it? And was there anything exciting to look at?
Man, I probably just I don't really go on like pack a backpack and have to go out with equipment type hikes ever. But I've been on some like nature trails, so it's probably something between 3 and 6 miles.
Not 8 miles.
Knees weak, arms are heady.
His arms are heady.
Heady?
They're heady, dog. They're heady.
What about you, D-Money?
So I was in Boy Scouts. So we went on a backpacking trip, and it was one of the most miserable experiences of my life. Not for the distance, not for the heat, not for any of that. For the fact that on the first night, when I went to sleep in my tent, I accidentally laid on the mouth of the camel pouch in my backpack and flooded all of my drinkable water into the floor of my fucking tent. So I then had to rely on Jason and his brother Chris both giving me a bottle of water that they had. And then I had to also rely on boiling water out of a river that I had gotten through a filtration thing that we had and all this stuff. And I'm like, yum. It was rough, but it was like 3, so it was a whole weekend. It was 3 days. And it was the Ocala National Forest. And I don't remember how long it was. I want to say it was like, I don't know. It was 3 days worth of hiking.
Yeah.
So it was I just can't remember how long, but it was a long ass way. Because by the time I was done, I was like, thank fucking God I'm home. I haven't eaten Skippy peanut butter since. Because I was eating Skippy peanut butter sandwiches and cup noodles.
And now he's a Jif man.
Now I'm a Jif and Peter Pan man. Yes, sir.
I'm a Peter Pan man, goddammit.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
Peter Pan, man.
Peter Pan man, god damn it. I wish I could remember some of the locations that I've done stuff on, but like, you know, being in Tennessee, you do have some pretty good trails out east. So I've spent some time in like, you know, Great Smoky Mountains and stuff like that before. But Chattanooga honestly has some of the most beautiful camping and hiking around it. Like, check out Chattanooga. Cause like Chattanooga is one of the most interesting places I've ever been, to be perfectly honest. Because like you get there and it's like surrounded by mountains, and then you go to the city part of it, and there's actually a city there. And I'm not talking just like a town that has a couple buildings. Like, no, this thing has actual like 30-story buildings. And I'm like,
You don't think that from somewhere called Chattanooga?
no, you don't. And like, I was really shocked by that because like Chattanooga is not big by any stretch of the imagination, but like for some reason it has large buildings and mountains. It is such a cool place. But like, there's so many good hiking trails around there. If I'm going to think about the longest and like the views there, some of the best that I've seen, again, Tennessee at least. Let's say the longest. I've done some overnight stuff before, like where I've packed my bag with a tent and sleeping bag and stuff and hiked that out. So probably over a course of a couple of days, probably like, I've never done anything too crazy. I've had dreams of like doing the Appalachian Trail, but never really could commit to that because money's the thing that exists. But
Yeah.
But I'd say probably like 15-mile hike over the course of a couple of days. Probably the biggest. Like in a single day, probably like 8 to 10.
Okay. Yeah, man. And you know, my thing with Florida hiking is it's like it's hot as fuck
At least it's flat.
for one and humid. And it's flat.
It's not fun.
Like, it's like you might no, I mean there's some hills, but you might come across a waterfall or something like where a river becomes a little waterfall and it looks pretty and everything. But dog, you're not gonna like come across this big majestic view of a field. Because that's all you're gonna come across is fields. There's
Yeah.
nothing. Or swamp.
It's okay. Who among us hasn't dated someone who was hot yet?
So there is this park that I have been hiking in St. Augustine area because kind of mentioning that. I think this is the one. It was Anastasia State Park down there.
Yeah, Anastasia. So Anastasia State Park has one of my favorite beaches. The Jetties is part of Anastasia State Park. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It's like I've been on a few of their trails down there. It's just like it is a very different experience hiking in Florida as opposed to the like where there's hills and mountains and things.
Yeah, dude. Like hiking here. I had this conversation with Ryan when I was up there visiting Ryan. Ryan's like, "Yeah, man, you know, you can like walk through the woods here and not worry about a rattlesnake just gonna pop you in the fucking calf and kill you." And I'm like, "Wow." What's that like? Because like around here, you see those palmetto bush things and palms, and you're just like, oh, let's just fucking stay away from those because snakes like to hang out around those. And sure as shit, there's always some snakes around. Be it we are the Australia of America. We got coral snakes, we got moccasins, we got.
I was about to make the same damn joke.
Rattlesnake.
Got popcorn snakes.
Yes.
The show rules.
Oh man.
I'm glad I recorded this.
On that note.
Oh, good shit.
If you would like, oh wait, I'm on the wrong part. Yeah, there we go. If you would please,
If you'd like to give us money, just go ahead now. If you freaking think we're funny, go ahead now.
doing fucking Spin Doctors. Okay, I'm here for it. It's a good album.
Yep.
iTunes and Spotify. I'm sorry, the way I said it was a good album, and Willie just came back into the camera like.
Or is it?
Yeah, iTunes and Spotify, please, if you would, leave us a 5-star review or a thumbs up on Spotify, however you do it. If you would like to join the Discord, which we highly recommend, come and vote on the fan polls and all of that. Right now, Duke Nukem's still far and away the winner of this next poll.
But this has been one of the most interesting and heated heats we've ever had.
For real. So let's get some more of that. Bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. We'll get you an invite. Pop in, join. We'll all say hello. I promise you'll get a warm welcome. If you would like to check out the website, which is up to date from Mr. Puzzles, bit.ly/The Steam Machine Podcast. Patreon, if you'd like to donate to the show, which would mean a hell of a lot to me personally and the boys. Patreon.com/The Steam Machine Podcast. And if you donate $10 or more, you get your name read out on each and every episode like these wonderful, wonderful people. Nate Sir Cogsworth, the 7th of Juniper, Jeff, the original expendable Mr. Syllables, old Jeffy Lube himself, Aris or Adam, shout out to his podcast/blog in the Discord, Revival and Extinction, James, the Steam Machine, Hall Monitor Hall, Team Retrogue, go check him out on YouTube, Mr. Puzzles, Dane himself, and Chad, the Mad Lad, no goddamn C in his last name, Schaefer.
Yeah, special shout outs to Team Retro this week. So, in case you were wondering, I was asking you a bunch about like streaming from PC to devices kind of questions. The solution I ended up going with was the laptop thing I mentioned during the fan question. So, thanks for trying to help me, and it still might be something I do in the future, but I did find a solution for what I wanted to do with this game.
Hell yeah. Let's see, and then where's the what was I? Shout out to Yabs Pod, yet another BS podcast, bi-weekly show. So on the odd weeks of Steam Machine, you can catch me over there on that show. Shout out to the JRPG Report, which is going to have some changes going on behind the scenes soon, but pretty soon, Mikhailov is going to be joining me on JRPG Report. So that will be that'll be fun, man. I think it'll be a little more fun to have somebody to bounce things off of instead of just kind of droning on about news by myself.
Man. That sounds like a great addition.
Working on that. TSMPproductions.threadless.com. Go get you a shirt. You like my music, nowthenightmare.bandcamp.com. You can also now search Now the Nightmare on Spotify. Yeah. Other than that, I know we took a detour with a short hike, but it's time we hit the old dusty trail again, my boys. So we're going to get there in the next 2 weeks. We'll be back with the Trails in the Sky second chapter wrap up, or as close to it as we get. And then after that, Willie, it's your pick. So start hashing around your brain what you would like to choose, my good sir.
Arigato.
All right. I don't know what language that was, but we will go with it. On that note, for the Destructo Bros, my name is Dalton. And as always, guys, take it easy.